Delilah doesn't leave Brigmore Manor anymore. She doesn't have to. Which means I have to come to her. The manor's upriver, far out past the quarantine line. I'll need a ship. I've lived in Dunwall's underworld a long time. I know the players. Gang leaders, madams, corrupt officials. But what I need is a smuggler who knows the river, someone I can trust. It's a reflection of Dunwall, or perhaps myself, that after all these years, the best choice I have is Lizzy Stride, and Lizzy Stride is in jail.
Alright guys, welcome back to Let's Play the Brigmore Witches. So just like in the Knife of Dunwall, there are favors we can purchase when we visit the shop at the beginning of every level, and those favors will allow us to complete special objectives or just have like bonus equipment or that kind of thing strewn about the level for us. We're going to purchase all of these. We start out with a large amount of gold here at the beginning, and we picked up some more where we're at Dowd's hideout. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of those, which makes for one of the most hilarious situations in all of Dishonored. I'm going to specifically get one rewire tool that's very important coming up here for the strategy I'm going to be using for high chaos in Coleridge Prison, and I'm also going to be filling up with some other supplies here. A lot of the upgrades, like the weapon upgrades, I just don't see the need to purchase because of how short this campaign is. If it's the main campaign, yeah, maybe I'd want to go with the crossbow accuracy or range or one of those things. I just never see the need to get those, and especially the range. It's like, how far away are you going to try to kill somebody from in this game? Anyway, so as you can see, Dowd has disguised himself as an overseer, and we're just going to march right into Coleridge, and it's hilarious.
About time, overseer. We sent for you hours ago.
There was a problem with the waterlock.
Fine. Listen up. The incident took place in the interrogation room. Cross the yard and keep going straight. Anything else is off limits. Understand? Don't go exploring. Don't speak to the prisoners. We're not here to listen to you preach. Don't forget you're in Coleridge now, not the Abbey. We asked you here for one reason.
I'll be gone before you know it.
Gotta love Michael Madsen's voice. Anyway, so if we didn't purchase the Overseer Dowd gift perk thing, then the favor, then we would have to infiltrate this place quietly. We would start the level at a completely different point and have to walk our way up here stealthily. So now we can just walk right on through. And they're under the impression that we've been sent from the Abbey of the Everyman as an overseer to investigate some strange behavior that's happened with one of the inmates in here. So we're going to do that. We're going to steer clear of most of the guards here. I'm just going to walk straight into the interrogation room there and see what's up. But like I said, I have a very particular strategy for how I'm going to be handling this. So there's supposed to be a dialogue there with that guard when he's standing in front of the door, but he walked away too early, so we'll get that on the way out of the room.
What happened here?
Alright, let's get down to business. What happened here? It looks like she's been burned alive, but there also appears to be a significant amount of dark magic around her, so time to see what's up with that. That note right there has some information about one of the cells you can investigate later on, but I'm not going to be taking advantage of that.
Good. Doesn't look like much, does she? Comfortable? All right, we'll get this done. Let's start with how you got into Dunwall Tower in the first place. Was it one of the servants that let you in? One of the guards? Nothing? All right. Corporal, use the hammer. That's right. The smaller one. Can't really tell if she felt that. Don't want to break anything. Let's try again. How did you... Wait. You hear a kind of ringing in your ears? What's happening to her face?
Well, we don't study any of that witchcraft nonsense. And we don't believe in the stuff that they talk about at the Abbey, so... all we know is what the outsider tells us, so we honestly have no idea what happened with her. And now the guard wants to stand in front of the door.
You're free to go. This is the Abbey's problem now.
Do whatever you need to do. I'm not sticking around. And don't leave any, what do you call it, black magic lying around. I don't want to be cursed or anything.
Yeah, he's supposed to be there when you first approach the door, not as you're trying to leave, but whatever. So, for high chaos, like I said, I have a very particular strategy I'm going to be using here. For low chaos, you just have to blink your way up to where Lizzy's stride is and break her out without being detected. And that's really the best way of going about it. But you really miss out on a lot of the exploration in Coldridge by not being able to just eliminate all the guards and have free reign of the place. So I'm going to take all 3 of those whale oil canisters we saw back there and walk them back over here. There's an extra one over here as well. It's mostly depleted. We're going to put it right over here by the power supply of this arc pylon. And I think you guys already know where I'm going with this. So we're just going to casually just, walk over here one at a time and bring these things over here. They won't suspect a thing. Over here in this purple mist is or the purple light is another bone charm. I'm going to try to get as many runes and bone charms as I can for this route. An interesting thing enough, when you start out Brigmore Witches after having not played the Knife of Dunwall, like you start a new file like I have done, you get a random selection of bone charms. So my setup for bone charms, I actually haven't gone into the menu and done that yet. I'll be doing that right before we begin combat here, which will be very soon. But I actually got a completely different set of bone charms than I did during my last test run. I actually got a really good setup during my last test runs, but I unfortunately will not be able to replicate that. It's sort of like the gear in BioShock Infinite, where it was completely random. But at least if you were to play the game linearly and get all the bone charms where they're intended to be gotten, you would be able to have a particular setup if you wanted to. But I never really cared much for a lot of the bone charm abilities, especially since Dowd gets the corrupted bone charms occasionally, which have a drawback as well as a benefit. Some of those I think will even out if you have more bone charms. So I'll be trying to demonstrate as many of those as I can. So I'll be actually buying as many increases to my max capacity for bone charms as I can during this run, but it's not something I usually like to do. So as soon as I put the whale oil canister in here, I went and rewired the circuit, I'm going to start combat. This arc pylon is going to start vaporizing all the guys in the vicinity, and of course, having noticed this, all the neighboring guys are going to come running, and fortunately they're too stupid to notice. So the guys close to the entrance there, I'm just going to go ahead and fight normally. I'm going to go ahead and call in my assassin. And I'm going to go ahead and adjust my setup really quick so we can be optimal for this fight. I want to get Summon Assassin 2 as soon as possible, so we have that for later on, because you get much stronger assassins with that. So let's see. I got some interesting ones this time. Nothing I really care about. Statuesque, that's a very interesting one for stealth, but and Strong Arms would be good for if you're doing non-lethal and you want to do some takedowns. So I'm going to try to do as many that increase my survival rate in combat and also allow me to do more chaos-oriented things, more lethality-oriented things. So we're going to go ahead and fight alongside of our assassin brother and go ahead and take out some of these guys. And like I said, I've talked about combat a fair bit in the Knife of Dunwall, but I'll talk about it some more here. So we're not really going to be using the wrist bow very much. One thing I do have to say I've really grown to appreciate about Dishonored the more I play it is how realistic a lot of the cuts they use are. Like you'll see when they do a finishing move, it's based on a realistic sword fighting technique for the most part. Like you'll see a particular type of cut and you'll see that it's executed in a more realistic fashion. It's not very fantastical. I just wish that the summoned assassins stayed around longer and they kind of blinked around with you even after you are done with combat. I'm going to go ahead and aggro these guys over here. Hey, you want some of this? Come here. Come on. That ought to get his attention. And then the last guy back there, I'll probably just shoot him. We picked up a pistol off the guards. I never really see the need to upgrade or buy things for the pistol because we always just pick up the ammo off the bodies of the guards we kill. So it doesn't really feel like ours. It just feels like something we picked up, and that's usually the case, even with Corvo. So another nice thing about this is the fact that the guards have opened the gate for us on that side, so that saves the trouble of having to find our way through there. It also has eliminated most of the guards in that area. Wow, that was nice. Yeah, if I hadn't said so before, Dowd is going to be all chaos, all brutality and lethality. We're just going to kill everything we see, because if I hadn't said so before, I don't like to play Dishonored ambiguously. I don't like to do, high chaos one level, low chaos another level. With Deus Ex Human Revolution, I was able to do the Let's Play to where I alternated between stealth and combat, lethal, non-lethal, depending on the level. This game, I just cannot do that with. I've got to play it one way or another. I either get no upgrades and kill no one, which makes the game challenging, but I still get to be stealthy and not kill anyone. But the other alternative is just to kill every last thing I see, which is usually the case with the DLC. Although there's some very nice low chaos alternatives for the DLC as well, and I'll discuss them wherever it's relevant. Obviously, this area out here, there's a firing squad about to execute some of these city watch guards. I'm going to go ahead and save this guy because he'll give us some meaningless information. Actually, he'll give us the exact cell that Lizzy Stride is located, and this information is random depending on your run. She's in a random cell every time. The last run through the game, the last test run, she was in D23, and this guy is now telling us that she's in cell A00, so that actually helps quite a bit. Unfortunately, that's a cell that's in the very far back corner. These two guys don't have any dialogue, so I can't free them and talk to them, but it still gives me the prompt to kill them if I want to. Another bone charm down here. The other favors that we got was there's a cache inside the watch outpost there. We're going to get that. It's through that door that opened up to the right of the arc pylon. We're going to be going through that very soon. And then the other one is a misplaced rune that was left at the bottom of the bridge where the river was. It's dried up right now, or right where we landed when we escaped as Corvo. We'll be leaving through that same way as Dowd, and we'll be picking that up on the way out. So nothing we need to go out of our way for, because we'll just be getting it later anyway. So yeah, this level is a bit more interesting if you're stealthing your way through it as the Overseer. Of course, now our disguise is ineffectual now that they have raised the alarm and all that. But they're going to be running around frantically. There's a Hatter in there for some reason. They're going to be running around frantically trying to find us, trying to kill us. So it's pretty much going to be all combat from here on out. Like I said, I'm not going to be using the crossbow all that much. I will be using the sleep darts for a particular enemy type later on, and we get some new weapons and tools in this run. We get the stun mine and the arc mine. I believe the stun mine was in the Knife of Dunwall. I just didn't really use it very much. But the stun mine is a non-lethal. It's basically Dowd's version of the Spring Razor we had as Corvo, but it's less improvised. There's more technology behind it, and it's non-lethal, whereas the arc mine vaporizes the target much like an arc pylon would. It uses the same kind of electricity. So that is much like the Spring Razor. I'm pretty sure you can attach it to a target just like the Spring Razor. I never really used the Spring Razor very much at all in the normal campaign for Dishonored, but I like the mines occasionally. I'm probably not going to use them very much because there's not that many opportunities to in this campaign with how short it is. So I'm going to be working my way up to the watch outpost now, where I got the cache in that little room down there. It was in the. You have to pick up the key behind the cabinet and then open the cabinet and you get all the supplies that we get. That was one of the favors that we paid for. So we have a marker on our. We have a little indicator now to tell us a waypoint exactly to tell us where Lizzy Stride's cell is, and now we just have to go to the guard outpost and open the cell door, which is pretty easy. I'm just going to kill any guy I see along the way, and we're going to rotate these three knobs to allocate the door's letter and numbers, and then hit the switch and it will open that gate. Thankfully, we don't actually have to do anything with the numbers because it's 00, so we just have to change it to A and then hit the switch, and that's all we have to do. It's really easy. I guess that's one way we got lucky there, but the downside is we have to go all the way to that back corner to get her out. But it'll give us the opportunity to explore a little bit more and get some more items. I've killed mostly every guard in Coldridge, so yeah, maybe that's our frustration from having to stealth our way out with no equipment or anything as Corvo, but I don't know. I was prepared for that when I did that Let's Play. I was debating with a friend of mine, very good friend of mine who is a mutual Dishonored fan, who I believe should be watching the Let's Play. I was debating with her whether or not I would re-record the main campaign on the Definitive Edition and do another route, like perhaps do a low chaos route with upgrades, or do a high chaos route or something. Right now, I definitely don't think that I will, but if you guys give me a significant amount of feedback and think that you want that, I may consider it, but right now it's definitely not happening. I just wish that the Dishonored main campaign Let's Play fared better and had better picture quality, because the Unreal Engine just does not fare well if you're not recording it at full HD. But even then, despite the fact that we've transcended consoles twice now to play the best looking version on console, it still doesn't look that much better than the previous one, the Game of the Year edition on the PS3. So, but it's significant enough. I mean, it just doesn't seem like it was worth the money when they didn't really add anything new to the interface or anything for that matter. No director's commentary. I mean, even the Deus Ex Human Revolution director's cut had developer's commentary and extra levels and all that, and that was cheaper than Dishonored Definitive Edition was. But anyway, enough about that. As soon as we pick up Lizzy's Stride and we head for the exit, because I think this happens regardless if the alarm is sounded or not, but new guys are going to spawn in here. I'm going to bring out an assassin to distract this guy, otherwise he would have shot me there. So I'm just going to move past him ever so slowly. I might have to put her down so I can help this guy out, because it doesn't seem like he's going to be able to defeat this guard, which is a shame. You would think the assassins, as we fought them in, well, we didn't really fight them, I guess, because we were no kills, but you'd think if you know how the assassins fight in the main campaign, they'd be much tougher than the city watch guards, but obviously, depending on what difficulty you're playing on, the enemy is going to be superior every time. And we'll just wait until we get the master assassins. They'll be a lot better. They'll be a lot tougher. And then if you get the arcane bond passive ability, then they benefit from more of your powers, which I won't be able to get Arcane Bond level 2 in this run, but I at least will be able to demonstrate the abilities that they would benefit from. So like I said, this is all dried up now, and it's not a river like it was when we were Corvo. I just picked up the last rune, and I should have enough to get the next power. Let me save that for now. I'm not sure what I'm going to get next. I may go ahead and get Summon Assassin level 2 next, because that's the most expensive thing that I want to buy with the runes. So that should be it. We're going to leave through the sewers with Lizzy's Stride in tow.
She's beaten, but not dead. See that her wounds get attention.
It will be done. Ready to go, sir?
Let's go.